Hi guys, well it's Tuesday, but we're not going to have a down and dirty woodscraft today. As you're aware, 3/4 of the country right now has got the Arctic mass sitting on top of it, and everywhere from Texas all the way to the north is frozen and having very cold temperatures. I'm along the lower right edge, and I'm not getting those extreme colds, although it's going to be down in the 20s tonight. I'm getting the rain because I'm just at the lip edge where the jet stream's going by, and it's sucking all that moisture up from the Gulf. So I have for the last 4 days had nothing but rain. It goes from bands of heavy downpours on up to just a misty fog. So just haven't had a chance to get out and film anything in the last 2 days because of this weather. So please forgive me for that, but we can do other things. So we're going to talk about some announcements and some questions. First, the 4th run of the Blackbird Haversacks will be toward the end of March. In the middle of March is whenever the manufacturer will open up for me to take more orders. So figure the middle of March is whenever we'll start taking orders for the 4th run. I have a list right now of on the 4th run. So if you go to DOWNNDIRTYWOODS with an S, woodscraft at gmail.com, and I'll put it in the description box below. If you'd like to be on the list for the Haversacks, I'll add you to the 4th list. Okay? Next, I've been asked about my event. My event is scheduled for March 18, 19, 20, 21st. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of March this year. We will have a gathering, a camp out at Geneva State Forest, same place we've had it last few times. And I will be setting it up down there. Now, cost. It's $2 per day per adult to camp. And it's on an honor system. There's a drop box up at the top of the hill. Come out, bring your RV, bring your tent, bring your camper, bring your hammock, bring whatever you feel comfortable in camping. There is room for us to find a place for you to camp. Okay? And I will post a drive-in video beginning of March, we'll say, so that you can see the drive-in and make notes. It's real easy once you realize you turn off the dirt road, off the paved road onto the dirt road, and you don't make any other turns, no matter how many roads are coming in, until you see the sign that says Geneva State Forest Lake, and you go up the hill, follow it around, and you're at the lake. But we'll discuss that in depth a little later. Now, someone has asked me to give my 2 cents on this kind of extreme weather we're having right now, if you were caught out in it. First, these type of weather patterns don't just appear. This is kind of like a hurricane. You're warned days in advance that this big polar type mass is coming. So my advice is don't go camping in this event because of the extreme cold and the chance of getting isolated somewhere due to an ice storm, or even if you did get in trouble, nobody can come help you. So it's better to avoid such weather. Don't mean if you want to challenge yourself you can't do it. What's wrong with the backyard? It's outside, right? If you want to go out and challenge yourself in these kind of conditions, go right ahead. There's a lot of people I know that wants to do that kind of challenge. And I did it myself in the past. So yeah, but set yourself up a safety net. The object of the game here is to see, can you face such extreme temperatures with your gear and still not get in real trouble? Well, yeah, that's a good challenge. But at the same time, if it does go bad, remember that's what the question is here. Can I do this if it goes bad? Well, it's better if it goes bad, I'm not 50 miles from home on closed down ice-covered roads where nothing's passable. It's black ice everywhere, and I'm in a ditch now stuck, and it went from a sort of challenge to a real challenge. See? Better not put yourself in that position. Get close to home. Get out in the backyard. Get on the back deck. Whatever, if you want to practice this. Many times I have tried out new pieces of gear. I have taken my one-wind hammock and its underquilt. When I first got it, I went up the hill to my little area and I slung it up between 2 trees and I spent the night in the backyard. Could it handle 35 degrees? It did. But I would rather find that out now before I'm on top of that mountain in the middle of nowhere, and then find out, oops, it really couldn't handle it. Then I'm in a real tight. See? So education yourself ahead of time. Try out new gear that's going to make a big difference. Knives or something, get out there and try it out. But like axes, try it out first. It's a lousy thing to be counting on an axe and get out there and your third hit the handle breaks because it was a cheap handle. Things like that you want to try at home, you know. Cooking, definitely try all cooking recipes at home first before I take it out there on the trail and find out, oh my God, the dog will choke eating this. You know, it sounded good. It would look like a good recipe. All you do is add water to it. Try it out at home. I've had a lot of stuff that I've tried over my years that never went in the field with me because I tried it at home. If I don't like it at the house, I won't like it out there in the middle of nowhere. And it sucks to be your only food. Oh, I brought 3 packages of this because it'll be, going to be a lonely damn night sitting there awful hungry because I ain't eating that junk. It becomes where I have to, and then it's miserable. So, the rule of this is, if you have to be out, you don't have a choice. Now that's the next thing. Let's talk about you don't have a choice. And the question was, Blackie, if I was out in this right now and was somehow marooned because my vehicle went down or whatever, what should I do? One, is the vehicle capable of running? Then you want to stay with the vehicle. If it's the snow's got you trapped or whatever, stay with the vehicle. Okay. 2, what if the vehicle can't? Now, if those up north already know this, my friends down here in the south don't. So listen up, guys. If you are in a car or a vehicle and you're having to sit there and idle to keep warm, 1, get out periodically and clean the snow out from around where the tailpipe is on this thing. You don't want it to snow to build up against the car and seal it up. That can choke one down, believe it or not. I've seen it happen where snow got driven and packed in, and you turn the car off to try to save fuel, and an hour later when it got cold you decide to crank it and it wouldn't crank because snow was packed against the tailpipe and it couldn't breathe. A car has to have air coming in and exhaust going out. And you remember that old 1980s joke in Beverly Hills Cop about shoving a banana up a tailpipe and the car wouldn't crank? Well, if the tailpipe gets plugged up with snow, it will not crank or won't run for more than just a few seconds before it smothers out. So you got to have a complete line. This is also true in mud, guys. Down here at the south, you go into a deep hole, and as long as the engine's running and that tailpipe's underwater, you're okay. But if the engine stops, water runs up the tailpipe, and that won't crank. You got to get out of the water because there's water up that tailpipe. It goes up the muffler, and it becomes a barrier that the engine can't blow out of the way. And if air ain't going out, air can't come in, and it don't run. Okay? So, you're in a vehicle. You've got stalled out for some reason. Slid off the edge. Is the vehicle safe to stay in? Stay with it. 2, am I clearly seen from the road? If not, put something up there for people to see I need help. Better yet, preserve all the resources you got. Leave the vehicle turned off if you don't need it. Turn it on, warm it up. Make sure you get as much padding insulation. That's when you're supposed to have that bug out bag that's got good insulated clothing and a big old sleeping bag or something. Dig it out. Turn the car off. Fumes can build up in a car, even though it's trapped in snow. So you need ventilation. If the heater's running, crack the window just a little. When you turn the engine off, you can roll up the window. Hold the heat as long as you can. If you see a passing car coming up on the road, flash your lights or something to try to get their attention. Okay? Maybe they can get you some help. Or maybe they'll stop and you can transfer to them and get out of this situation. That doesn't work. If I'm in a vehicle and I've got to leave the vehicle, it's become unsafe to stay in this vehicle or the vehicle is completely run out of fuel. Okay? If I'm not in the roadway, I've slid off here in the ditch, do I have resources like trees, brush, or whatever that I can make a snow lean up against the side of the vehicle and get myself out of the wind? Staying in the wind is the worst thing. So I need cover, 1. 2, if I'm exposed to such cold conditions, shouldn't I build a shelter first? No. Locate resources first. That's your number one priority. It's build a shelter is great, but if there are no resources here to have a good fire going, you're in the wrong place. It's better to find the resources if possible. If you can see resources and it's safe to get to those resources, like trees or whatever, go there. Figure out that you've got enough firewood resources. Build the fire. Okay? I get my fire going, I can come back to the fire and I can warm up as I gather resources to build the shelter. Okay? To get me out of this cold condition. I need big supplies of firewood, and I need to be a solid windbreak. And that bug out bag you're carrying, have you got some way of making a super shelter, you guys up front? I've talked about a pocket super shelter to go into a haversack. We're going to be doing a video on that really soon to talk about that. Again, it's something you can just carry in the flap of your Blackbird haversack and pull out and have a super shelter. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But right now you need some sort of shelter, some sort of windbreak. You do not want to be exposed to the wind. Plus, before you left that car, you did leave a note or something, right? Saying, I'm going this way, I'm close by. So when the highway patrol finds this car and it's abandoned, did you get a ride or not? See, leave yourself breadcrumbs to help you get found. I drove a truck for many years and went up in your cold country. And I wasn't raised in your cold country, so I had to learn. And my father, who was a truck driver for 50 years, and he was driving old gas-powered trucks right after World War II, and they would have drivers freeze to death, where a truck would get snowbound somewhere and the guy would just run out of fuel and die. My father told him when he agreed to, in the dead of winter, go to Idaho. And he told, back in them days, those old trucks were so weak, with these little old 25-foot trailers. Trying to climb them mountains, you were down to 5 or 10 miles an hour is all it could do going uphill. 5 or 10. He said there was places literally he would step out of the truck, use the bathroom, walk up and climb back in the rig. It was moving that slow going up a mountain. And that was as hard as it could go. You just locked the throttle on it. Well, he told him if he'd go out there, that you're not going to just pull my body out and put another driver in that truck. Before I die, I'll burn that truck to the ground. And as luck would have it, Daddy got snowbound. He burned every cardboard box in the back. He had food and supplies for 10 days with him. He ate a lot of peanut butter and orange juice, because that's what they had in the truck at the time, in the trailer that he was hauling. He had an axe with him, and he broke up the wood floor in the trailer and burned it. He burned all the tires off of the rig and was just about to burn the passenger seat insulation when they found him. The truck was burned out up when they got rid of him, but he was alive. He said, it won't be hard to find me. Look for the black smoke, because he's going to be burning tires. He was not going to give up. So, moral of this, you're trapped. I've got nothing else. You got a spare tire, right? It's against the EPA to burn such things. I sure know it. They can come and arrest me. So what's Blackie going to do? If it's no other option, I'm going to make my little snow cave, or I'm going to make my whatever, and I'm going to take that spare tire, and I'm going to harpoon that big old knife into it, and I'm going to let all the air out of it, and I'm going to push me up some rubber or something. I'm going to pull some oil off of the engine dipstick. I'm going to do whatever and get that tire burning. They burn hot. They make black smoke. They generate a lot of heat. And it burns probably an hour or more to burn up a tire. There's 4 tires on the outside, 1 in the trunk. I got at least 6 to 8 hours worth of fuel sitting right there, if nothing else, before I start tearing up the carpet and upholstery. You're not going to pull me out of a frozen vehicle. If you do, it's a dead vehicle. Because I am going to fight to the last before I give up. And that's what you should do too. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.